Do you keep hearing that you should eat organic? But how important is it really? And what if you're on a budget or organic simply isn't available where you live? How do you find the best produce possible without spending a fortune doing so? Hi, I'm Susan Marx, and I'm here to bring you greater clarity on how to live a long and healthy life. I do the research so you don't have to. Today's topic, organic produce. What are your options? I'll show you when it's not necessary to buy organic and where you can source highly nutritious produce without spending a fortune. First, what's all the fuss about organic produce anyway? Well, organic farms do not use synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, and there's no use of genetically modified seeds. Organic produce may not look as pretty because it's not coated in wax or grown oversized with synthetic fertilizers, but it's certainly more nutritious. Researchers at the University of Missouri were surprised to find that the smaller organically grown orange had 30% more vitamin C than the larger conventionally grown orange. So with organic produce, you're getting more vitamins and minerals and far less toxins. Eating fruits and vegetables is truly the key to good health. And eating fruits and vegetables far outweighs the hazards of pesticide exposure. Eating conventionally grown produce is way, way, way better than not eating fruits and vegetables at all. So don't let this information be an excuse for you. Be healthy. Eat your fruits and vegetables. As a matter of fact, Michael Pollan, one of my favorite authors, tells us that in countries where people eat a pound or more of vegetables and fruits a day, the rate of cancer is half of what it is in the United States. So let's say you eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. If you do, you're probably consuming on a daily basis up to 10 different pesticides, not to mention the post-harvest fungicides. Pesticides are toxins, toxic to your nervous system or endocrine system, and some are even carcinogenic. The EPA ranks pesticide use as one of the leading health problems in the U.S., and small children, pregnant mothers, and the elderly suffer the most from pesticide exposure. Dr. Andrew Weil, author of many books, including 8 Weeks to Optimum Health, tells us that by switching to organic produce, you have a measurable drop in tissue accumulation of pesticides. Okay, so you've got to eat your veggies. But what do you do if organic produce isn't available to you or it's simply too expensive? Well, some fruits and vegetables have way more pesticides than others. For example, celery tests have shown 57 different pesticides in various samples, and bell peppers have shown 15 pesticides in a single sample. So there are some fruits and vegetables that you simply should not eat unless they're organically grown, and there are others that are less of a health risk. So let's take a look at the Environmental Working Group's Shopper's Guide to Pesticides. First, we'll take a look at the Dirty Dozen. These are the fruits and vegetables grown in the United States that, when tested, have the highest amounts of pesticides. They're ranked from most contaminated to least. Bottom line, if you can't find these organic, don't eat them. Apples are number 1 on the list of most contaminated by pesticides in the U.S. In fact, 99% of apple samples tested positive for at least one pesticide residue, and apples imported from New Zealand have an even higher level of pesticides. Stay away from them, and certainly think twice before you feed non-organic apples to your children. Exact same thing with strawberries, which are ranked 2nd on the most contaminated list, and as bad as they are, strawberries imported from Mexico are even worse. Do your very best to eat only organic strawberries. Number 3, grapes. In the studies, a single U.S. grown grape tested positive for 15 pesticides, and imported grapes from Chile have an even higher level of pesticides. Celery, number 4 on the list, and as I mentioned earlier, the non-organic version of celery has been found to have as many as 57 different pesticide residues. Seriously? Domestic peaches are number 5 on the Dirty Dozen list, and even worse, peaches imported from Chile. Number 6 is spinach, and spinach imported from Mexico has an even higher level of pesticide. Number 7, sweet bell peppers. Just like the grape, 15 pesticides were found in a single sample of bell peppers. Number 8, nectarines. All imported nectarines are high in pesticides. However, domestic nectarines are not on the Dirty Dozen list. Number 9, cucumbers. Number 10, potatoes. The average potato had much higher total weight of pesticides than any other food crop. 11, cherry tomatoes. 12, hot peppers. That just about wraps up the Dirty Dozen list, but the EWG also mentioned that some kale, collards, and some summer squash didn't quite qualify for the Dirty Dozen list under their traditional ratings methodology, but did raise special concerns because many samples test positive with a harmful pesticide that's been in the soil since the 80s. In just a minute, I'm going to tell you about the produce that's the least contaminated by pesticides so that you can rest easy and perhaps save a little on your grocery bill. But first, don't just assume that organic is significantly more expensive. Check to see what the difference is. For instance, I feed apples and strawberries to my son, and yet they're the top 1 and 2 most contaminated fruit. So I checked today, and the Granny Smith organic is 11 cents per apple more than the non-organic, and the 3-pound bag of organic Gala apples is only 16 cents more per pound, or 48 cents for the entire bag. The organic celery is only 60 cents more than the one contaminated with up to 57 pesticides. I think 11 cents more per apple and 60 cents more for a big bag of celery is a bargain to keep harmful toxins out of my body. So before we move on to the least contaminated produce, I want to make a note about genetically modified produce, or GMO. The largest GMO crops are field corn and soy, and these are used in processed foods like chips, crackers, snack foods, breads, and cereals. The good news is you won't find many genetically modified food in the produce aisles, with just a few exceptions, some zucchini, sweet corn, and papayas grown in Hawaii. So now, let's take a look at the EWG Clean 15. These are the fruits and vegetables least contaminated by pesticides. Multiple pesticide residues are extremely rare in the Clean 15. 7% of the samples had just one pesticide detected. Just like the last list, we're going from the most contaminated to the least. But these are the fruits and veggies that you can feel more comfortable buying the non-organic version. Mushrooms, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, grapefruit, kiwi, eggplant, asparagus, mangoes, papayas. Note Hawaiian papaya found in the U.S. supermarkets is generally genetically modified. They tested the frozen version of sweet peas, cabbage, avocados, pineapples. Fewer than 11% of the pineapple samples showed detectable pesticides, onions, and sweet corn. Just make sure that you're purchasing the non-genetically modified for those summer barbecues. All right, so this isn't foolproof, but here's a general way to think of this. If you're going to eat the skin like a grape, apple, or strawberry, spend a little extra money, buy organic. If the produce has inedible skin like a pineapple, banana, or avocado, it's less important to buy organic. About 20% of the pesticides can't just be washed away because they're systemic, meaning they move inside the plant through the root system. But in many cases, it's a great help to wash your produce. If you're using a soap product, however, that might have toxins in it and you're simply adding to the problem. An inexpensive and effective way to wash your produce is with water and vinegar, or you can take a look at the natural produce wash below that I use. And here's a nice tip. If you thoroughly wash and dry your produce before you put it in the fridge, it will last 4 or 5 times longer. Now there's a cost savings right there. And here's a less expensive option than buying all organic, which might not be so obvious to you. Many smaller farms, even though they don't have the organic certification, are seriously dedicated to growing organic and biodynamic produce. You can often find this produce at local farmers markets and even some health food stores. It's generally marked pesticide-free and herbicide-free. It's a nice indication that the produce was grown with concern to good health and environmental practices, and it's an excellent choice for you and your family. I've listed below a helpful website from Local Harvest that you can find a farmer's market near you. You might be surprised that there's one closer than you think. Stay on top of your health. Head on over to greaterclarity.com. Sign up for my email tips, and I'll send you the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. It's wallet size, so you can take it along with you while shopping. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave your best advice on how to get your kids, your partner, or even yourself to eat more health-promoting veggies. Tell us how you do it. It's my job to make it easy for you to stay informed, stay healthy, and live life with energy and zest. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and feel free to send it to everyone you love. Remember, you're powerful because of your ability to choose. Choose to take care of your health so that you can shine your light on everyone around you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Check, check, checkity, check, check, check.